Okay, so the way we last left our code, it looked something like this. Now, this is all valid HTML and it looks fine. But the problem is it's not very obvious the structure of our HTML. So what do I mean that it's not obvious? Well, what I'm saying is that if you look at the structure here, it kind of looks like head and body over here are indented at the same level and that they have the same position in the hierarchy that the H1 does because it's also indented at the same level. But really I'd really want to indent the H1 by one tab worth. Um, and the same would go for like the image here, and the same would go for the P, and etc. But to go through the entire document and indent everything would be a real hassle. Not to mention the fact that as I update this HTML file for whatever reason, maybe new features on this page, for example, I don't want to have to sit there messing around with the indentation. Now, I don't have to mess with it at all. I mean, I can just leave it and live with the fact that things will not be indented properly. But that makes it challenging to really work with it and to know if things are messed up or how the structure is organized. And that'll become more obvious maybe in the future. But for now, what I want to do is I want to show you a piece of software that is simple in its idea, um, although under the hood it's very complex. But what it does is it reads in the text from this file here, and it outputs the text with everything properly indented and formatted to make it look a lot prettier. And in fact, that piece of software is called Prettier. And there's an extension inside of VS Code that can automatically re-indent the file whenever we make a change based on various rules. It'll know that this is an HTML page and it will indent everything according to the structure of the document, and it'll make things a lot easier for us to maintain going forward. So it's pretty cool. Let me show you. So first we're going to open up the extensions toolbar here, and we're going to search for one called Prettier. It's pretty popular, so you can see, I think, this one is in the 16 million downloads. That's probably a good indication that it's the right one. So we're going to install that. And it looks like it's already installed, so I'll close that now. And you can see now down here it says Prettier with a couple of check marks. So I think it's not enabled by default right away. So I'm just going to save the file with Command S. And you can see that things didn't get like indented, or like the indenting down here didn't change. So that's my indication that it's not yet set up. So let's go set it up. I think we should be able to get there from the preferences. So I'm going to do Command Shift P, and then I'll just type preferences and I'll open with the UI. And here I'm going to search for something like format. Let's see what we get. So there's the editor default formatter. So I'm going to open that, and let's see if I find something about Prettier. So I found one here. I'm going to click that. And then there's also editor format on save. So I'm going to make sure that's checked off. So that means whenever I save the file, it will automatically try to run that the Prettier tool, which will reformat my code for me. So I think that should be it. Let me close that. And now I'm going to save the file, and you can see that everything kind of shifted around. But what did it do exactly? It it's smart. It saw that there's a p tag and then there's some text over here, and it made it obvious that this text is within the p tag because there's a little bit of an indentation gap over here. And you can see that the UL has all of the LIs as children nested nicely inside, and etc. as you go down through. So even like all of these, each instruction is properly formatted. Now, what's also cool is that let's say I just mess up the formatting and I put this one over here, and then I put the H2 over there, and then I put a section tag over here, and I'll delete that, and I'll put the other part of the section over here. So things are now starting to look really unorganized again. And all I do is press save, and look how it auto reformats everything to make it nice and aligned so that there's this nice alignment between the opening section and the closing section, and the P is now shown nicely indented inside of it. So you see that no matter how many times you try to mess it up, for example, I'll try to mess this one up again, and then I'll save, and it just jumps right back. So I no longer have to worry about the formatting of my code. I'll let Prettier handle that for me, and I'm going to worry about focusing on making the cool parts of my web page. So that's all I wanted to show in this one. So if you found this one helpful, hit the like. Don't be afraid to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.